Well, hello everyone. Good afternoon. It's Beth Kozik from Elegant Greetings. Welcome to our catalog Copycat cards. It is a beautiful Saturday afternoon here in Michigan. Much better than last weekend, unfortunately, and I apologize for not posting a video, but we had really terrible storms. I'm sure everybody heard, and in the Grosse Pointe area was hit especially hard. Thousands of residents had flooding in their basement. So yeah, extremely sad. And my heart goes out to all of them. So yeah, really terrible flooding happened over here, some power outages. We did not lose power, but we did lose our internet. We have AT&T. So I had no cell service and no internet service. So no way to post my video. So that's what's been happening here. And so let's go ahead and look at what project I made 2 weeks ago. And it was this cute gift bag. These are our new ombre gift bags. And it's super easy to decorate these. You can see they have a very variation in colors, so they go from dark to light, and they come in a variety of colors, all of our 5 new in colors, and super easy to decorate. We could put a gift card or a little package of cards inside, a small gift. So this was the project that I made. Let's go ahead and give that away. We had quite a few people comment, so let's see who our winner is this time. And our winner this time is Pam. So Pam, thank you so much again for watching. I really appreciate you doing so. And for everybody else, please do leave a comment either on Facebook or on YouTube so that you'll have an opportunity to win the project that we're going to make today. So again, we're in our annual catalog, which kicked off about a month ago. So it's loaded with all kinds of wonderful things. And this was one of the favorite things that I spotted in this catalog. This suite is called Simply Elegant, which is very much my style, thus my name of my company, Elegant Greetings, right? So it has this beautiful stamp set. Let me show you what that looks like. And it is a clear mount stamp set, so it's red rubber. There's one stamp here we're going to use, which is this one here. And that's part of the set. And then there is a coordinating punch, which looks like this. And I'm going to show you a little trick of something interesting that we can do with our Stampin' Up! Punches, which is really clever. It's this little trick here. So I'm going to share that with you in a few minutes. And the project that we're going to make is this one right here, this kind of dark gray and black card. I really love that with the touches of gold. There's also a set of beautiful designer paper, which is called the Simply Elegant Specialty Designer Series paper. It's absolutely beautiful. Let me grab that for you real quick. Okay, so this paper is so pretty. It has a lot of foil accents to it. You can see this one here has the beautiful copper accents on the gray. And of course, everything's two-sided, so there's all these different patterns. Super pretty, all different metallics. And this comes in a 12 by 12 pack. Here, I'll show you this way. This is easier. These are the different patterns. So 12 sheets of 12 by 12. Everything is double-sided. So there, that gives you kind of a good look at everything. The colors are just beautiful. I really love this pack. Oh, here's another one which I missed. This one too. Okay, so that is part of the suite. The bundle itself is, well, the entire suite is $59.25. So that would include the stamp set and the punch, the designer series paper, and then it also includes a package of the Simply Elegant trim, which is a spool of silver and gold cording. And this is really fun. We're going to use the gold one on the card today. But this is a really fun way to add just a little bit of some shimmer to a project. So that entire suite includes everything, which is great. Everything coordinates, works together, so it's super easy to use. All right, so let's go ahead and start our project. I'm going to keep my catalog handy here on the side. Okay, so I have our stamp mounted. We're going to use this this corner style design stamp. We need our green liquid glue. We need a couple dimensionals, Versamark, because we're going to emboss in gold embossing powder the sentiment. And then I have my Stamp and Seal and Stamp and Seal Plus adhesive. We need basic gray ink. And then we are going to need our card base, which I think this is this is one of our grays. Let's see. It is, I think it's Smoky Slate. So that is just 8.5 by 5.5 and scored at 4 1/4. And then a piece of our basic gray. And I think this measurement was about, it's 5.5 by I think 3. Let's see here. 2 3/4 by 5.5. And then we need a piece of the designer series paper that I just showed you. Either side could be used, which is really pretty. I think I'm going to do it just like the catalog and have the black sideshow, which is so pretty. And then we need a little piece of our Very Vanilla, and we need a little tiny strip of our gold foil paper. So I cut that super, super skinny. All right, let's get started with our stamping. I always like to start with that before I do the other parts. So we are going to stamp right onto our piece of our basic gray. I'm going to need a piece of scrap paper here. Okay. And we are going to stamp off a little bit. So I'm going to place that right under my surface and then ink up my stamp. And this basic gray is almost as dark as black. So it's really going to give a very prominent image onto the cardstock, which I really like. So we're going to put one in that corner like that. And then we need another one in the bottom corner. So I just rotated my paper, and we're going to do kind of the same thing down in this corner. Okay, so there is our gray. That looks so pretty. All right, and then let's do our embossing next. We are going to need our Versamark and our piece of our vanilla paper. Oh, I forgot to ink up the sentiment or mount up the sentiment, so I have to do that real quick. Let's see here. The choices are, there are a lot of sentiments we could use. How about, let's do, I think that will fit. Yeah, wishing you a happy birthday, a wonderful birthday. So here is that, and I just need a block. Okay, so that's ready to go. I have my heat tool ready, which I forgot to mention. We need our heat tool. We need our embossing powder. So I have my gold embossing powder ready. And I like to keep each of my embossing colors in its own plastic container, so it's easy to use this way. It keeps everything contained. The mess is very minimal. So we are first going to stamp with our Versamark. And Versamark is just a clear, sticky ink. And you really can't see anything other than it being a little bit shiny. So I'm just going to make sure there's nothing on my paper here. And then just stamping like I would with ink. Okay, and then I'm going to run that through and add the embossing powder. And the powder's only going to stick where the Versamark is. So see how that works? Nice and easy. And I'm just going to flick off any extra because we don't want any little extra pieces on there because they will melt and they will be visible. So we try to remove as much as possible before we turn on the heat. Okay, so next step is to get my heat gun going here. Oops, and I don't have power. Whoopsie. There we go. Wasn't plugged in all the way. So here I have just a piece of cardboard that I covered with some foil, and I use that for my surface so that the heat doesn't burn through underneath. And then I use a pair of tweezers just to hold the paper in place. And I have my heat tool set to the high setting. I'm just going to melt that embossing powder. Oh, can you see it happen? It's always magic. There we go. So yeah, embossing is that easy and quick. Isn't that pretty? I love the shine on there. All right, and then I'm going to let that sit for just a second. So let's go ahead and assemble our card. So we have our base, and I'm going to first put my adhesive onto the basic gray, and we're going to put adhesive all the way around so we get that to lay down nice and flat. Okay, and that's going to go right here next to the scored edge. Now it should line up exactly because I cut the length of it, the exact length of the card. Okay, that looks good. And then my designer paper, that's going to just overlap a smidge. So I'm going to add a lot of adhesive onto this as well. Okay, and then I'm going to line that up with the edge on the right side. So it's exactly covering the entire front of my card. One thing we can do is take our bone folder. If we have this where we're putting a lot of adhesive, it's nice to just take the edge of that bone folder and run it along because it helps that adhesive to really adhere together. All right, so I know I cut that paper just a little longer than I needed, so I just need to snip off. There we go. All right, so there's the front of the card. And now we're going to add a little bit of adhesive to actually use my craft mat, which is very messy. I think I need to clean that. I'm going to add a little bit of adhesive to this strip of gold. And I'm not going to use too much because I don't want that to leak out from the edges at all. And I think I cut that a little longer than I needed as well. All right, and then that's going to be placed right over the seam. Like that. And our green glue is really awesome. It is it's just a white glue. It dries clear though. And it's we have a little bit of wiggle room because it doesn't dry like instantly. So in case we need to shift a little bit, we can. That looks good. All right, and then I'm going to snip off these extra pieces here. Okay, that's coming together nicely. I love that. And then we need to add a little bit of our twine, our cording here. So I thought instead of cutting it, what I like to do when twine is put on a spool like this, it already has like a natural curve to it. So I'm just going to use that to my advantage, kind of make a circle, 2 circles actually, and then just kind of snip off like that. Okay, and then I'm going to lay that where I want it to be. And then I'm going to add just a little bit of our Stampin' Seal Plus. And I think I'm going to put that right about here. Because the greeting is going to go over this area, it's not going to show. So I'll be able to just have that cording stay in place like that, so it won't move around and won't break free. Okay, that looks good. And then now we're ready to put on our sentiment. So I'm just going to bring out my trimmer, trim off this little bit of extra here. I'm just kind of eyeballing the space to the left, and I'm going to keep that amount of space on the right. There we go. Actually, make it a little smaller. Okay, And then I'll add a few dimensionals onto here. Probably 2 is just enough. Oh, sorry, I need to stick there. Okay. And then this goes right over the cording like that. There we go. Isn't that cute? So let's bring in our catalog. That went together really quickly. I love the look of it. It's so elegant and pretty. So here is the catalog version, and here's my version. So that is really, really pretty. I have just the person in mind I'm going to send that to. Let me show you some other cards that were made with this set. Last weekend was card class, so here's another one that we created. We just added some of our baker's twine. This is the punch, which I definitely want to show you how this punch works. So here it is here, and it will, well, first of all, for those who aren't aware, our Stampin' Up! Punches come with a locking mechanism. So this allows the punch to stay closed, so they're easy to stack, or they can be stacked on end in this direction because there's a flat side. And then to open them, we just have to unlatch the lock, and it opens it up and it's ready to use. So this can be used just as we would like a normal punch. I'm just sliding in some paper, and it cuts out an entire image, okay? So the fun trick about using our punches is that instead of doing that by placing the paper into the side slot, we can actually put our paper into the edge this way. All that needs to happen is that the cardstock needs to be cut just a little bit narrower than the width of the punch. And then what we can do is, if I can get it in here, so I'm just sliding that in from the top so you can kind of see how it's side to side, it's even. And then if I punch it, that allows me to create any length of tag or whatever I happen to be making, a bookmark maybe, and I can have the cut be on the end where I want it. Now, if I wanted that same cut on the other end, I could definitely put that right back in there. But I'm going to have this bottom part of the punch be the bottom part of my tag. So same process. I'm just going to slide that right in and punch. So now I have the top part at the top, the bottom part at the bottom, but look how much longer that piece is. So it's just a really fun and different way that we can use our punches to have them be a little bit more versatile. So that process is explained right here on page 69 at the top. Okay, so I hope you enjoyed that little trick. And let me show you again. So last weekend's classes, we'd made 4 cards, and this was one. We focused on that beautiful designer paper, and we put the sentiment on the front on the actual punch out with one of our new, I forget what these are called, epoxy, silver epoxy gems, I think they're called. So just a little touch. And then I've been adding a little something to all of the interiors of my cards lately. I just feel like it finishes them off, adds a little extra touch. So this is the actual flower from this stamp set, which is here. So that was one card we made. Here's another one, focusing and showcasing that designer paper, which is so pretty. We use the hammered embossing folder to do this copper foil paper, and then just layered on with some twine and the sentiment. And then inside, this is the stamp here, which is part of the set. So I added just that little bit of an embellishment there. And then our third card, which I mimicked from the catalog, I just kind of changed it up a little. I used the other side of that designer paper. These are cutouts from the Hippo Happiness die set. And then we used a little bit of the silver cording. And this is the sentiment from the stamp set, which is right here. So that's pretty. Let's see what I did in there. Oh, and I put just a little fleur in the corner. And then the final one was this one. We used our new Evening Evergreen paper. This piece of basic white we stamped with the flower, so we kind of created our own designer paper. I added little tiny dots using our blends. So those are all hand done on there to make it look like it was handmade designer paper. And then these are just strips of designer paper. This is one of our new evening evergreen ribbons, which is beautiful. We tied on some cording. And then to make the tag, we first punched one in basic white, and then we punched out a second one in the evening evergreen to kind of give it the shadow. So they're just layered together, and that gives kind of a shadow for the tag. And then inside, I did that. And I've been putting my embellishments on the inside. So these little tiny ones are really flat, and I thought that added just a nice little touch on the inside. Okay, so those are some ideas that can be used with this suite. Again, beautiful stamp and punch, designer paper. The suite is so pretty. So if you'd like an opportunity at winning this project, be sure to log in and leave a comment on Facebook or on YouTube. And just one other thing I want to mention is that my annual BOGO sale is next weekend, July 10th and 11th from 9 to noon each day. I have hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of things for sale here, so please look at Facebook. You can get a visual of some things I already showed. I shared my stamp set list with everybody, so if you want to kind of check those out ahead of time, and be sure to RSVP. There's a free goodie bag for everybody who attends. I'm making up little tiny bags of things that are all retired, so that'll be an extra little bonus. But BOGO means that you select as much merchandise from my retired merchandise, and then you are able to order an equal amount from the new catalogs for free. So basically you're getting half off or twice as much for your $1. So it's a really great deal. I hope you will join me for that. And I think that's it for today. So I hope you enjoyed my project, and I will see you all again next Saturday. Alrighty, take care. Bye-bye.